Those bot-bots are programmed not to let any non-organic foreign objects pass. Foreign objects like that.
If you're looking for a new adventure in the expanding first-person physics-based puzzler genre, then you should really check out this game, Conundrum. You take on the mantle of a young boy visiting his genius uncle for the afternoon, who happens to have the penchant for showing off his latest gizmos, like the freeze ray. Unfortunately, something goes terribly wrong as you make your way to your uncle to see what he's got for you this time, and after a catastrophic accident, it's apparent that your uncle's been transported to some odd place. He has no idea where he is, so he tasks you with making your way through the three wings of the house and turning all the generators back on, thus bringing up all the systems so he can figure out where he is and get back to you. After all, you probably shouldn't leave a kid unsupervised with something like a freeze ray sitting around. Starting up some generators doesn't sound that difficult, except your uncle has done a little renovating to the family house. It's not exactly a safe environment. Seriously, with the science fluid everywhere, lasers, and robots that are content to push you out into space, you might want to report your uncle to OSHA for a couple of health and workplace safety violations. Of course, what would an adventure be without a little risk involved? Thankfully, your uncle, and this cute little guy named Ike, will help you on your way, providing comic relief in between levels and helpful hints if you're taking too long.
I would move if I were you. What a disappointing hiding spot. In case you're wondering, you turned on a fan. Please say that you don't need me to explain that to you.
The heart of Quantum Conundrum is dimensional shifting. There are 4 different dimensions you'll gain control of, and you'll need to use those to your advantage to solve numerous puzzles, and eventually make it to the generators. Those dimensions would be Fluffy, Heavy, Slow, and Reverse Gravity. Fluffy turns normally heavy objects light, so much so that it's a breeze to pick up a heavy safe and toss it around the room like it's nothing. Moving it from wherever it spawned in and setting it on a switch, tossing it over a laser beam, or just setting it up to ride on. Heavy makes objects heavy and dense, so normally light objects like a cardboard box become enough to trip switches, and all objects become so solid that lasers will not destroy them. Slow just slows down time to a practical crawl, which is great when you need to toss something over a wall, take a long way around, and then catch it to continue on. Reverse gravity is self-explanatory. It makes everything that's not bolted down fall up. Of course, don't forget that all objects have a certain behavior in the normal dimension as well, and sometimes you'll need to remember that if you want to solve the puzzle.
Well done. Yes. Ah. Ooh.
The game is structured into 3 wings, as well as a final section. The result is that the wings slowly introduce you to the different dimensions, allowing you to gain a degree of mastery of each individually, and then add in the others for some really interesting combinations. For example, Fluffy can be mixed with Heavy to pick up a safe and toss it through some lasers, timing it just right so that when the safe hits the lasers, it's now in Heavy and won't get vaporized. Fluffy can combine with Slow so that you can toss an object in the air, hit Slow, and then jump on top of it, surfing it across a gap. Now if you want to see all 4 work together, you can grab a sofa and Fluffy, toss it in the air, go slow and ride it, use reverse gravity, which doesn't affect forward motion so long as you don't hit anything, to make a sine wave, and finally switch to Heavy just as you're about to hit some lasers that would kill you. All in all, pretty neat stuff.
Whew, that was rather close.
You might be wondering right about now just how it is you control these dimensional shifts, or if it's just that you have to have great timing to pull off the chain of events I just described. Well, the truth is, it's a bit of both. You see, rooms are separated from each other, so just because certain dimensions were available in one doesn't mean you can utilize them in the next. So sometimes you have direct control, and other times you have to pay attention to what's going on around you. Early on, you unlock something called the IDS glove, which stands for Interdimensional Shift Device. With it, you can control when you change dimensions using your 1, 3, Q, and E keys, that is, assuming you have control over the dimensions at all.
Oh, it seems as if the timer on Desmond doesn't have the duration that you'll need.
To activate a dimension, the correct IDS battery has to be in the IDS battery receptacle. Some levels start with the batteries scattered around an area, and you must get the first one in the normal dimension, then use the new dimension to access the second, and so on. At other times, the receptacle can only hold less batteries than you have options, creating a puzzle where you have to switch things out as you progress. Other times, there are individual receptacles that are hooked up to a button that either you can press, or you can set up a drinking bird to act like a timer. This works with other switches as well, since you can pick him up, his name is Desmond, and move him to other switches. The result is various combinations for possible puzzles, with my favorite being one called Choose Wisely, in which the 4 batteries are available at the start, but you can only pick up one before the others are whisked away, and so you have to figure out the order you can solve the room in from there.
Well, what's it going to be? I hope that's the right choice. I recommend you take inventory of where the other batteries have gone.
Quantum Conundrum is a fun game. There's a lot of humor in it, ranging from the way the different dimensions impact the art style, such as the paintings, to the other adventures your uncle talks about, to cute Ike appearances. The puzzles weren't particularly challenging, but I did like how the game was much more of a platformer, requiring you to time jumps and move yourself across levels much more than, say, Portal, where it was more about rapid portal placement for proper teleportation than difficult and repeated jumps. Interesting side note, Kim Swift, who was the lead for this game, was also the lead for Portal, as well as the game that led up to Portal. Basically, she's big on these type of first-person puzzlers, and that's good, because I enjoy these types of games. Though I did make it through this one a bit quickly, clocking in around 6 hours to beat the game, and grab the collectibles. Though there are challenges you can accept as well, such as beating a level within a certain amount of time, or within some number of shifts, all of which can be viewed at the handy selection computer in the main area. $10 is a fair price for this game, though I've seen it around $3.75 before as well. There are also some DLCs for it, which, if you like this game, you might want to pick up. In the end, Quantum Conundrum is a good, fun game, one that I rate as an 8 out of 10.
Watch it. That wasn't horrible.